we approach the goat. So that approach is one of the 3 parts of our run that we work on the ground: approach, flank, and tie. And approach is very, very important. It sets up your whole run. So we want to make sure we have a very solid approach and we're able to read these goats, and we're going to talk a little bit more about reading the goats. Mia's going to start walking to the goat, and you'll notice her hands are down, her knees are bent, her weight's on her toes, and she's going to take a step here, and this is a very, very important step. It's called blocking out her goat. You'll notice her toe is turned straight, her knee is driven into the goat's shoulder. The reason that is if we have a live goat, that goat can't run up and get away from her. So she's blocking this goat out, and you'll notice, kind of come back and bring your hand down here. When Mia's hand was right here, it was down. So if that goat went forward, she had his front leg. This hand's down. Hands are going to reach the flank and the front leg at the exact same time, so that when she takes this last step, she's ready to flank. As you're looking at your flanking position, we want our arms straight, hands even, shoulders even, knees and toes square. Everything is even. All right, we're looking at Mia's feet first. We're going to start from the ground up. Notice that her toes are even. You don't have one foot in front of the other. This becomes very important as we're laying that goat on the ground. You don't want to get your goats twisted or turned. So keeping your feet even is the first step in placing your goat correctly on the ground. Also look at her right foot and her right knee. We talked about an extra inch or foot adding time onto the clock. You'll see that Mia doesn't step past the goat. She's right underneath his flank. Her knee is in his flank, ready to roll him up. Next, we're going to look at Mia's hands. So notice that her hands are even, okay? There's the same place on the flank and it's the same place on the front leg. And so what this is going to allow her to do is apply the same amount of force on the front leg as she is the flank when she is flanking this goat. So a lot of times if you're struggling where you're not clearing those legs out of the ground, so maybe your front leg's getting stuck in the ground or your back leg's getting stuck in the ground, go back and look at your videos. This could be your issue. Okay, here we're going to look at Mia's head and shoulders. Notice again, they're even all the way across. Her chin is down to her chest. Her head is down below her shoulders. She is engaged in this flank. And by engaged in this flank, I mean she is looking at those goat's legs coming up at her right shoulder. She's not looking out into the arena. She's not standing up in her flank. So her body position is going to remain the same all the way through her flank. So you'll watch her when she flanks. She doesn't elevate her head. So this is really important for those of you, really any style that you choose, but especially if you're trying to catch those legs in the air, you want to keep that chin down. Now there's a drill that we use to help with that, and that's the tennis ball. You have to hold the tennis ball underneath your chin to flank and tie. So that could be helpful if you're struggling with getting your chin up. So you might want to try that one. Okay, really want to highlight here that Mia's toes are straight forward. If you turn that right toe out or that left toe out, you cannot use your kneecaps correctly to roll this goat up. You do not want those kneecaps turned away from this goat. If you're flanking this goat correctly and you're using your kneecaps to roll that goat out of the ground and not your back, you're going to see those legs come up towards your shoulder, and you're going to be able to hold that goat there. We call it tabling the goat for as long as you want to without getting tired. Okay, last but not least is our arm position. So we want those arms to be straight. We want our elbows to be completely straight, not bent, because when we bend our elbows, it actually takes the power out of our flank. So just like a spring, if you compress it halfway, you don't have all of the power that you're getting from that spring. Your arms are the same exact way. If you want to be able to really roll this goat out of the ground and do that evenly, then those arms need to be straight. And I'm going to do a video on just your elbows and how it affects your flanks. But just look at that. When you pull those elbows back, you're going to want to pull them straight back to your belt, not getting them away from your body. But they are a very important part of your flank.